Hello there and welcome back to my YouTube channel and to today's video all about how to pass your upcoming financial reporting examination with 80% following the key revision technique of question practice. Now, I'm delighted to be joined by Danielle today, who for the video, as you can already tell, got 80% on her FR, that's the F7 paper, and she's kindly taken some time out of her day to walk and talk us through how she achieved it. So Danielle, feel free to introduce yourself.
Yeah, hey guys, so I'm Danielle. I am based in Aberdeen, Scotland, and I'm currently going through the ACCA qualification. And as James rightly said, I just did FR in March, passed with 80%. And yeah, my key strategy has been question practice. So a wee background on my journey. So I also work full time. So I've been studying in the evenings, etc. I am lucky in that I do get study leave with my traineeship. So I get about 2 weeks off before my exam. And yeah, I just smash questions. So far I've done law, FR and PM. I'm actually sitting tax in June. So almost there. And then I've got audit and FM left where I go into the final 4 papers. So yeah, that's a wee bit of background about me.
Marvelous. Thank you, Danielle. I think we've got lots of viewers out there, pen and paper at the ready going, oh, James, it'd be lovely for me to get 80 on my paper. So the first fundamental aspect of question practice is key. Walk and talk us through what was your approach, how you went about it, and what sort of maybe mistakes you made that eventually got you to the 80 mark.
Yes, so with FR, obviously, you've got your section A, your section B, and your section C. So FR, you've got a slight advantage in that that you're going to prepare a set of consolidated set of accounts or a single entity set of accounts, interpret consolidation or single entity. So that is coming up. So for me, my key was I'm just going to try and smash it as many prepare consolidation balance sheet questions and P&L questions, similarly with the interpretation questions. And I just did it again and again and again. And honestly, you'll find that the questions, they're going to ask you the same thing. It's going to be prepare a console P&L or a console statement of financial position. So the more you do it, you'll be like, oh, and you'll do it. Now I remember actually one of my key mistakes was I would forget to eliminate intergroup transactions a lot of the time, and I would make the same mistake again. I thought, oh my goodness, and I would write it down before I attempted the next question. I would say, in capital letters, eliminate intergroup transactions. And funny enough, it just became the norm. I would just do it. Do you know what I mean? It would just happen. And yeah, I don't know. I think repetition is key. The more you do things, the more you'll get it right. Practice. So yeah. And then in terms of the section A and section B's, now James mentioned this a lot in his channel, but the examiner reports are key. So I read pretty much all of the examiner reports, and they will actually say students often aren't great. For example, in the interpretation question, students aren't particularly great at interpreting group disposals. So I made sure and they actually tell you the questions in prior papers. So I circled those questions and I thought, right, I need to do them, and I did them, and that put me in good stead as well. But also in the examiner's reports, they'll say in this paper, this question wasn't answered well, this question wasn't answered well. So, and this literally happened to me. There was a stock question that came up, how to account for stock NRV versus cost. And I kid you not, it came up in my actual exam. So yes, a question that they used in the examiner's report that said, students weren't good at this question. This is how you answer it. That exact question came up in my exam. Now it's never happened in any of the other exams I've done, but it can happen. So definitely utilize the examiner's reports as well. So yeah, for me, it was question practice and going back to the examiner reports, seeing the questions that they highlighted that students didn't do great on, because 9 times out of 10, if the examiners don't think they've been answered well in the past, they will probably test you on it in the future. So
definitely. Yeah, and they occasionally write what students did well, but it's a really, really good tool to find out what areas students are weak on. And if you don't know where to find the examiner's report, I'll put in the description below the link where to get it as well on there, Danielle. But in terms of your question practice, just to be crystal clear, did you use a sort of revision textbook? Did you use the CBE platform? What was your sort of process going through it?
Yes, so I learn with a learning provider, Kaplan. So Kaplan have what's called an exam kit. So I did a lot of my question practices on those questions. However, CB platform, yes, absolutely, that is definitely key. So when it came to the preparing, the console P&L, SFP, interpreting your set of accounts, I use the practice platform a lot actually, and I just did my pro formas. I set them out. I would definitely recommend using the practice platform before going into the exam.
Oh yeah.
Yes, definitely. That's definitely key. I also use the ACCA practice platform, their mock exams. I did them as well. And you can self-mark, and I would say self-marking is key as well. And honestly, be quite harsh on yourself, because you don't want to obviously think, oh, I kind of got it right, I'll give myself the answer. Try and be as harsh as you can. And it's a great tool to have. And yeah, so
yeah, I always say, imagine you were marking this script as if it was someone else's. Imagine you
yes.
are the FR marker.
Yeah.
That is not good enough, James. We need better on
exactly.
there. But what were the other sort of key techniques that you used in the preparation for your FR exam on there? What sort of floods back in your mind now that we're discussing it?
So another thing that I did as well is, obviously, I can't emphasize question practice enough, but what I would do before, some people might be thinking, okay, that's great to do questions, but what if I actually, don't really know how to go about it? So before I would say, an example being accounting for grant income, what I would do is I would briefly read my notes on that, the key differences of revenue grants versus capital grants. I would briefly go through my notes, and then I would attempt questions. Now, that's not to say I might read a question and I still might be like, oh, actually, I don't know how to do this. So to be fair, I actually went to the answer to see how they did it right. And I would then write the correct answer, how the ACC approved way of doing it. And then I would attempt the question again. And then I would do some similar questions from that and attempt it that way. But yeah, I would just say I basically read some summary notes that I had on each topic and then attempted questions. And that was, I suppose, my key way of revising.
The only thing to add to that to help students out is if you ever get stuck on an FR topic, have a look at the technical articles they've got on the ACCA website, because they're just nicely listed out, and you go, oh, I'm not sure about goodwill, and they've got a couple of easy examples to go through it. Or if you're actually sitting FR and you've not done an exam in a while, have a look back at the old sort of F3 financial accounting notes back there, because that is the first main stepping stone going into the FR paper. I would say.
I think as well, actually, ACCA have I think they're called self-check quizzes, and they almost test the underlying knowledge. So I would definitely utilize that. I haven't utilized them yet. I only discovered them not long ago. So for tax in June, I'm definitely going to give them a go. So yeah.
Definitely. And the more practice you do, the better off you get. But I mean, arc back to your FR exam, what else sort of floods back to you as to different topics they tested? Does anything stand out whilst we're talking about it?
Yes, so obviously, the Section C consolidation. Also, I actually got within your Section B, I got impairment. Now, funny actually. Now, I understand some people, I think this really does stress some people out, but before my exam, so I've done all my exams in center-based exams. So within the center, you have to arrive there an hour before, which I definitely recommend doing, so you've got plenty of time. So I arrived an hour before, and I actually took the Kaplan ring binder. It's just basically a summary of each topic. And I kid you not, I read that from page 1 right to the end before in the hour, and I just read it, and it just kind of, it fulfilled me with confidence. I've covered everything, a wee bit of everything. Yeah. And I remember I had a question on impairment within Section B, and it was something had previously been impaired and had been revalued and it actually gone up in value. Now I remember reading, you can't, the value can't go up any higher from what it was originally before it had been impaired. And to be honest, had I not read that before I went into my exam, I probably would have actually forgot. So there's a wee tips and tricks as well. Maybe just go over your summary notes before you go into the exam, and you never know, you might come across a question and you think, oh my goodness, I literally read that 10 minutes ago, thank goodness. So yeah, I had impairment. What else did I have? Oh goodness me, it's doesn't remember now, but I definitely had
probably a bit of ethics in there, most likely would have cropped up.
Yes. Goodness me, I'll have to have a proper think.
Don't worry.
But,
well, thinking back to the exam, because there'll be lots of students wanting to know this answer as to what was your approach in the exam. Did you do section C first? Did you go B? Did you go A? Which one was the hardest in your opinion?
Yes. So I started with section C. Now I actually, as well, I'm really unsure how I did this, but I had answered every single question in the exam and still had 26 minutes to go.
Right.
How I did that? Well, to be fair, I had done many questions. I had also in my lead up to the exam, I had timed myself. So in section C, I gave myself 36 minutes per question. Yep. Now I would time myself with the 36 minutes. And as I got quicker, well, the more I did, I got quicker. So I actually found myself, I was finished my question with like 33 minutes to go.
Nice.
Yes. I mean, that's not to say I definitely didn't get all of it right, but I just following my wee methods, I would finish with 33 minutes to go. Now Steve Willis, I'm sure you're very aware. Now Kaplan say to base your time on 1.8 minutes per mark. Now Steve, I believe, is 1.6 minutes per mark, because he tries to say try and leave yourself 10 minutes at the end just to go over your flagged questions, maybe your section C again. So I based my timing on 1.6 minutes per mark, and it just so happened that I actually happened to have 26 minutes, but I did go back to my section C and then I went back to my flagged questions. Now that's a great tool within the platform as well that you get to practice on the CBE platform, is the navigator and flagging your questions, which I definitely do recommend doing. Now what I would do though, if I came across a question that I thought, oh my goodness, I'm not sure, I still definitely answered it, but I still flagged it, because you don't want to flag it by not answering it in case you have no time. And you know, so yes, I did section C, then I did section A, and then I did section B. And I've done that. I've also previously done PM. I did that in PM. I've done that with FR, and it seemed to treat me well so far, and I intend to do that with tax as well. So that's how I went across.
Nice. Oh, so did you find section C the hardest then, or the easiest, or was section B the worst, so you left it till last?
So when I was revising, I discovered that my preferred in FR section C's would be to prepare a consolidated set of accounts, either P&L or SFP, probably preference being SFP, and then interpret a single entity. So I would say section C is the hardest. When I came across my exam, I was actually, my wishes came true, my prayers came true. I had to prepare a consulate P&L and then interpret a single entity. So I would say, in sum, I would say start with section C, because I think in my opinion it was the harder one, and then out of section A and section B, I often found section B was harder. So what I did is I did my hardest section first, being section C, tried to give myself a little break by going to section A and then section B. So yeah, I would probably say in difficulty, I would say section C, section B, and then section A.
Right. Spot on. Yeah. I love how you said there, a bit of a break as well.
Yes, just to give the brain, a bit of a break and try.
Gosh, people are writing notes on this going, bit of a break. Oh wow, I never thought of it like that. But in preparation for doing the examination, just walk and talk us through your actual revision process. I know you mentioned you work full time as well, but we've got to get some context as to how you actually put this into play.
Yes. So a study plan. I can't recommend a study plan enough. And also ACCA have, I'm pretty sure it's called Compass or something. So you can put in your exam, what exam you're doing, and you can put in how many weeks you have to learn. So for me, I had 10 weeks to learn. And ACCA will say, if you've got 10 weeks to learn, they will say, 7 weeks of learning and then 3 weeks of revision. So what I did is I had my exam date, which was the 10th of March, and I worked my way 3 weeks back from there. And from those 3 weeks, I made myself a study plan. And I just did, when I was still working, I did at each night, this topic is what I'm going to do. So I briefly read over my notes, and then I attempted my questions. And like I said, I still, at that point, even 3 weeks beforehand, I didn't know everything. So I did find myself, oh my goodness, I can't remember this. I'm gonna have to go back to my notes. Or in fact, I don't have a clue how to attempt this question. I'll look at the answer, see the answer and say, okay, that's how we do it. And then I'll attempt that question again and again. So yeah, I did a study plan, and I think it is good to keep yourself on track. And also you might find you've come across a topic and you think, oh my goodness, that's actually quite hard. I'm gonna have to revisit that topic. And that's okay, that's fine. You know, just work it into the study plan. And you know, things go on in life. You might not be able to stick to that study plan religiously, and that's okay. It's you're gonna have to adapt to events as it occurs. And I definitely found that as I was going through my study plan. I thought for whatever reason I would be able to cover consolidation over 2 days. That absolutely was not the case.
No, I did a bit more than that.
Yes, oh absolutely. So and yeah, you just have to be realistic with yourself. However, if you do find that you're coming across a trickier topic, try not let that eat up into your other time, because your time, well, especially leading up to the exam is very crucial. So make sure you're covering your bases by at least going through every topic. Now, you don't have to know every topic 100%, not at all. You only need 50% in the exam at the end of the day. But I would say my strategy is I like to cover all bases. So I try to make sure that I attempted a question on every topic at least.
Yeah, good idea on there.
So yeah.
Oh no, absolutely spot on. So 3 weeks beforehand was the sort of cut off to say, right, question practice from now to the exam day. But I think it's really nice you actually mentioned that even to get 80%, 3 weeks beforehand, there were areas that you didn't particularly know on there as well.
Yes,
but
definitely.
yes, I mean, are there any other areas or words of wisdom that are flooding into your mind now, Danielle, that you couldn't sleep tonight if you didn't let the viewers know? The pen and paper at the ready to get those extra final marks. What springs to mind?
I would just say, you know, have a break. And if you find that you have revised the whole day and come, I don't know, say you revise from 9 a.m. and it comes 3 p.m. you think, you know what, I'm not motivated anymore to do this. That is fine. Give yourself an hour and a half break and then come back to it. You know, it's great saying, okay, today I'm going to revise full 10 hours. You know, realistically, is that going to happen? Probably not. I would say be kind to yourself. And it's definitely, I think what helped me through my exam was having that study life balance. For sure. And I suppose that's how I managed to get 80%. But listen to your body. When it's time to take a break, take a break. And sometimes it's better to come back to things with a fresh head. So whether that be a 2-hour break through the day, that's completely fine. And I used to feel really guilty because I thought, oh, I should be studying every single hour of the day whilst I can. Not quite, but absolutely not. Give yourself a break. And speak to your friends, family, even go for a walk, you know, get a fresh head and then go back to it and tackle it. And honestly, it's so true, it works. Trust me, it does. And sleep as well. Sleep is crucial. Now, I know some people, I remember actually I went on I attended one of the webinars that ACCA do. Definitely recommend doing them because they're very good. I remember the lady saying that she used to get up at 5 a.m. And start studying, and I mean, I value my sleep a lot. So honestly, sleep is key, especially the night before the exam. So yeah, I would say be kind to yourself and believe in yourself, and you will manage. Trust me. I mean, I would never have believed I got 80% in an FR exam, and here I am.
Rock and roll.
Yes, exactly. I mean, you can do it. If you put your mind to it, you'll do it.
Oh, spot on. And also when to add to that, it's a case you've got lots of people now working from home. They're studying as well, so you kind of find yourself that, I've sat here for 8 to 9 hours, then right, time to go study in the same place. Probably not done more than 2,000-3,000 steps for that whole day, so it adds so much to it just to get some fresh air, clear your mind. I even found just going to another environment, whether it be a local library or a coffee shop or something like that, that's what I did actually. I went to the library. I missed out. I would, from working from home, like you spot on, you've been in that environment the whole day and you think, oh my goodness, I can't even look at my computer, like my laptop anymore. So I used to go to the library nearby, and even being in that environment where you've got other students studying it definitely helped me. So I'll be honest with you, Danielle, I did the exact same thing, because I remember turning up and going, oh my word, people are here to actually work. I mean, I can't play on my phone. I used to go on the quiet floor. You just look around going, oh my word, he's working, she's working.
Yeah.
I'm not working. They're looking at me going, why are you not working? The whole reason why we're here is to work. So it's just finding that environment versus, you know what it's like when you get home from work, you just want to sit down.
Yeah.
You sort of maybe play on your phone, and then people open up TikTok or something like that, and you go, half an hour's gone. So
exactly. And I think even in those days where, you know, you've may finish work and you think, oh, the last thing I want to do is study. Even if you go onto the ACC platform and just read the examiner's report, okay, it might not necessarily be studying, but even just writing, like I said, writing down, okay, the examiner said students weren't great at this, okay, this topic I'm going to cover tomorrow or cover at the weekend. Even that's still productive at the end of the day. It might not be question practice, but it's still very valuable.
It all builds on. And it's those little marginal gains that are just going to help you propel yourself one to the 50 plus. And then who knows, if you've got students watching this who get 81, 82,
there you go.
Feel free to let Danielle know, Danielle and myself know. Leave us a comment at the bottom. But Danielle, thank you so much for your time today. Some great tips going through. And I'm sure the viewers have got some great value from that. So be sure to give the video a massive like, guys, as well. And I quite like it when I hear from students where they're watching this around the world. So leave us a comment. Let Danielle and I know how you get on in the exam. And any other final words of motivation, Danielle?
You can do it.
You can do it.
Honestly, yeah, she can. Just get the head down and yeah, you'll manage. And even those days where you feel like, oh my goodness, I can't do this. I've come across a question, I didn't even know what to do. Just try it tomorrow, and you'll be one step closer.
One step closer on that, and maybe even enjoy it, I think, as
well. Yes, definitely.
People there going, no, not a chance, James. Well, as ever, on that bombshell, guys, thank you very much for watching. Cheers.